It is time for the ultimate survival experience. Sons of the Forest is the highly anticipated sequel to the hit survival horror game, The Forest. Endnight Games is once again set to take the survival genre to new heights, and players all over the world are buzzing with excitement. On an island larger and more detailed than ever before, full of new cannibals and mutants, and with an arsenal of new weapons and tools, Sons of the Forest promises to be a terrifying thrill ride of epic proportions. So sit back, grab your gear, and get ready to survive and thrive like never before as we delve into everything you need to know about the most wishlisted game on Steam. The game was originally expected to release in May 2022, but delayed to October, then delayed again to February 23rd of this year, which is currently the anticipated release date. However, on February 3rd, it was announced that the full release would again be delayed in favor of an early access period expected to last about 6 to 8 months. So why early access? Well, the developers cite that Sons of the Forest is the, quote, biggest, most complex game we've ever made, and that instead of delaying a third time, they, quote, decided to involve the community in the continued development of this project. They would like to continue adding, quote, new items, new mechanics, gameplay balance, and more. The story behind Sons of the Forest will be familiar to anyone who played its predecessor. It all starts with a helicopter crash, but instead of the protagonist being a civilian looking for their son, you're now some type of a soldier with a team on a mission to rescue a billionaire suspected to be lost on the island. Right here is one potential member of that team, but we don't know yet if this is another player or an NPC. But then there's Kelvin, a hardworking and adept soldier, albeit non-verbal due to a head injury sustained in the crash. More on him later. And the man we're seeing here may be the target of the storyline, but we'll have to wait to find out more. It's also unclear who this new protagonist is and if there's any callback to Timmy, his father, or the original story. Sons will see the return of many familiar game mechanics, including a robust cooking, crafting, and building system, as well as a similar inventory management system. The devs have added new animations to the crafting process, so instead of your crafted object just popping into existence like it did in the forest, you'll get to watch your character craft it himself. This adds a ton of flavor and immersion, and it doesn't stop there. We've also seen new animations for things like starting fires and even eating raw fish. There's also a new 3D printer to augment your crafting ability. You'll be able to use spools of multicolored 3D printer filament or resin seen here to craft an unknown multitude of items apart from the mask showcased here. The construction system takes this to a whole new level that perhaps we've never seen before in a survival game. In addition to being able to build from blueprints like we saw in the forest, where you just place down a structure and fill it up with the required materials, Sons will allow for a new type of free building. You could split logs into planks, lay them down one by one to form a foundation, and then manually carve pointed tips into your defensive wall, and even chop out windows to let some light in. With the help of magnetic snap points, you can set logs and sticks in the exact orientation that you desire. Your only limitation will be your own imagination. Solar power will become an option, and in terms of its utility, we know that you'll be able to recharge batteries that might be used to power things like flashlights, night vision goggles, a GPS, a 3D scanner, walkie-talkies, or even the battery-operated chainsaw. We'll also see the introduction of digging, but it remains unclear what the full utility of this will be. We know that there will be underground items and locations to dig up and discover, such as this bunker right here, or perhaps even cave entrances, and we might have the ability to bury corpses or even set traps under the soil level. And finally, we'll have a few more weapon types to choose from. We've seen the return of weapons like clubs, axes, the spear, bow, crossbow, and seemingly the katana and molotovs, but many more tools are now at your disposal, including the taser, stun baton, pistol, shotgun, C4 explosives, a revolver, hand grenades, a selection of knives, and even a tranquilizer gun, among others. To make things even more customizable and fun, we've seen a variety of weapon attachments ranging from scopes to silencers. Coupled with the ability to craft different types of armor such as hide armor, you'll be able to make an incredibly fun stealth build. But don't worry, the core focus will be on melee combat with a critical shortage of firearm ammunition types, so it'll probably play similar to the old Resident Evil titles that I grew up with, where you have to make some really tough decisions on what to do with your 7 bullets. Sons builds upon its AI with a new system called V.E.I.L, and improving the AI was the primary focus for this new title. The developers tout extremely complex behavior where, quote, characters can now become afraid, tired, angry, hungry, thirsty, bored, etc., and these feelings influence their decisions. Enemies can range from inquisitive and friendly to bullying and hostile. Quote, the AI can use zip lines to get into your base, they can steal resources from you, or they may just want to torment you. They make decisions based on their individual objectives and experience, making them feel much more alive. And despite the fact that cannibals can feel emotion, your character is stone cold after the devs revealed the removal of the sanity system. Enemies fall into several categories, similar to the Forest, but with major improvements with the help of their new AI. We'll of course get to see the regular cannibals with their hallmark tribal markings. They can be found alone or in groups, and they can fall under the direction and influence of a nearby leader who will guide their actions. They have complex emotions such as fear, as these cannibals here run away from the sight of their fallen comrade's head, or sorrow, as this cannibal mourns the loss of his friend. Then there are the cave cannibals, with no markings, clothing, skin pigment, or even eyes. These variants have clearly been inhabiting the caves for untold years. And finally, we've seen the masked cannibals. Much larger and stronger than the others, they wear a golden mask to display their status. The player can even craft such a mask to either blend in or win the acceptance of this group. It's unclear if this gigantic hand pulling away a body from the crash site is one of these giants or if it belongs to a yet-to-be-revealed mutant. And speaking of mutants, there will be several new varieties in Suns, each with improved AI. Quote, mutants are a lot more interesting in caves in this new game. Instead of standing in a single spot, they roam through the caves, some making nests, others going to get water when thirsty, so you never really know where they are or what to expect. So far we've seen Sluggy, the Jabba the Hutt lookalike, Fingers with its flailing split-open torso, Twins, a crawling, physics-defying conjoined pair of bodies, John 2.0, the horrifying human version of CatDog, and finally the unknown creature responsible for tossing another mutant at the helicopter in the beginning, and possibly also seen grabbing the body of this survivor at the crash site. We do have confirmation that the old mutants Cowman, Armsy, and Virginia will not see a return. The map in Sons of the Forest, known as Site Number 2, is reportedly around 4 to 5 times larger than what we experienced in the Forest, which was estimated to be about 1 square kilometer. And the location is again what appears to be the Pacific Northwest, but instead of just having a northern snow biome, we'll see a changing of the seasons. Leaves will change color on the trees, the salmon will run upriver, the turtles will lay their eggs on the beach, and natural food options will become more scarce as summer gives way to a deep snowy winter. The game will feature up to 8-player co-op, but if you're like me and you like to go it alone, you'll benefit from the addition of AI companions. We know quite a bit about Kelvin so far. He might not be as talkative as he once was, but he can read and follow your basic instructions as you take the lead on construction and survival. Multiple reports indicate that Kelvin is a great asset and that his AI works wonderfully. He'll look out for himself in combat without being a liability. He'll gather the specified resource without hesitation, but he will need to take the occasional break, and he will respond to how he's being treated by you. Not interested? Put a bullet into him and say goodbye forever, but at least have the decency to dig him a grave. And then there's Virginia, and the indication is that she's a little skittish at first, but she can be more or less tamed. She's at least part mutant, with 3 arms and 3 legs, which appears to make her pretty adept at dual-wielding weapons in combat. Similar to Kelvin, she'll become attached to you and help you with your tasks, but she might also reveal information to you that's relevant to the story. From listening to interviews and accounts, it seems like there are even more unique AI companions, and with the game going into early access, perhaps there are plans for even more. Unfortunately, Sons of the Forest will only be released on PC for now, and we don't have any confirmation on if or when a console port will be made. If you're interested in seeing the minimum system requirements, I've pasted them into the description down below, as well as a link to the Steam page. It's hard to not get excited when you look at all this footage and hear about all these unique game mechanics. Multiple first-hand accounts of the game so far indicate that this is the real deal and it's going to deliver. But with multiple delays and the announcement of an early access period, I expect there might be some growing pains. But that's not going to stop me from dropping $29.99 on February 23rd and giving it a try for myself. So if you enjoyed this video, why not leave it a like? It's free to you and it really helps me and this channel out. And if you're interested in more Sons of the Forest coverage, including game news, tips and tricks, tutorials, and Let's Play series, then subscribe because I'll be covering all that and more. But anyway, my friends and fellow survivors, I'll see you at the crash site. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, for leaving a like, but most of all, thank you to the long list of amazing supporters that you see right here. I hope this episode has earned your subscription, and I can't wait to show you the next one. Best wishes to all, and goodbye.